other than the Little Leaguers that just come for their Little League time, they know that those pods are not Dame's pods. I walk here every day, about a half hour after Dick, and just about the time Alan shows up. And I think the trees that you want to plant have already been planted out there by the railroad tracks, haven't they, Alan?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you're offering things that's already been taken care of, and I'm a little upset that you're coming in with plans on and things that I think probably where it has been is that Little League helped to do the Easter egg hunt because they have something that they want from the park. But when they brought in Little League and we said, okay, let's get them on the foundation, let's get them involved in the park, don't see them. They've been in their little area. Their involvement in the park doesn't go beyond that until they want something, and then they're ready to open the wallet and they're ready to do the Easter egg hunt. But I just want to bring that to mind that although there's a lot of support there, I don't think they're really using the park. They want to use the park. They're not sharing in it, though. Thank you.
Melinda?
Melinda Thomas. This is also new. It's not really my issue, and I'm just hearing about it. Can I offer that this reminds me of other public-private issues that are popping up everywhere for facility use? The towns that are having money, and I'm reminded of the process with the Burgess swimming pool and, you know, the things that you still see echoing all these years later. The team had actually offered to build that pool for the town. They may have been smart enough to turn us down, but then they ended up, then management thing came in. What I'm concerned about here is it would be wonderful to share the park, have seed improved, but I'm concerned to see a broke town give away the park to and sort of lose control over it. So I'm all for what you just said.
Are there any other public comments? Well, seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment session and bring it back to the council. We'll start off with the council, Elizabeth.
So, in reading many of the letters that came through, the majority of them were in total support of this project, and that many of them were concerned about whether or not building this ballpark was within the HP Holbrook Palmer Park charter, and I think Ms. Mary brought that up. And, can we do it legally? I do believe that a legal opinion was given for the library people that essentially said that the charter was not perfected after 30 years, and so we really can do pretty much what we want to with the park, and it is a purpose that is made for a park, a ballpark in a park, it seems, and we've had it for the last 10 years. Another issue was traffic. So I have a quick question to the organizers. How many, bill that they will come? I mean, will you have increased traffic? Will there be, how many people typically come to the games in a year? Do you have a statistic on that? Anybody, just to kind of give me a sense?
Traffic?
Yeah, how many players and families and, how much traffic does the Little League create?
So we have
Thousands? Let's bracket it, 20,000?
12 and 12 per, so on kids per team.
12.
Generally, one parent will bring the kids because most people around here want to have multiple children. You're not going to see an increase in usage per se or traffic because it's still the same division that will be playing the same amount of games on an improved field.
Okay.
So the same parents, the same parking.
So are you talking about maybe 20,000 people per year, trips, people coming?
We haven't crunched the numbers. I don't know off the top of my head. Not even close to that.
Nowhere else.
In any given week, you're looking at 250 to 400 maybe.
Per week or something?
Yeah, per week at most.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to gauge that because some of the comments, you know, and the concerns are that it's going to increase traffic to the park, increase traffic. And I know that the library's doing a study, and they say that they had 80,000 visitors to the library. And so, you know, if we're going to be competing, you know, 80,000 more traffic, people coming to the park for the library, and then this, I mean, it gets crazy. And then sharing a space with the other groups. So I think that if it goes through the process and offer youth sports and organized youth sports, I think going through the process, and maybe the council needs to determine what the process really should be. But I think the thought is that you would take this to the planning, and then they can help you define it. And you know, how big is your billboard going to be? Is it, you know, 40 by 40 feet, or you know? I mean, people are concerned about that, and I think that those definitions are not really presented here, and I think that the unknown of that is a little.
Did you say building or scoreboard?
The scoreboard, yeah.
Because I think that there's a misconception. We're not building a stadium and advertising it to people from all these communities to come to our park. We're improving a little bit.
Yeah.
We're just making it much nicer. People can come in, the community can come and watch baseball. And the scoreboard is actually very small and it's off to the side. And so it's not like there's some big things. And the trees are actually optional.
Right.
And we put those in case people did want a sound buffer or wanted more trees in the park. Don't have to be there, they're optional.
And the other thing is, how big is the Victorian grandstand? You know, those dimensions, you know, things like that. Because I think the scale of the whole thing, I think people's perception is that it's probably a lot bigger and grander and world class than what it actually is. And I think those things can be worked out through the planning process. And I'm in full support of this.
Well, I think we have a very rare and unique opportunity here to capitalize on. I want to know, though, would you have room for bocce ball courts, too? I think one of the exciting things tonight is to hear the other sports teams, well, actually, the Little League and soccer and lacrosse in particular, say they want to work together. And it sounds like that some of the hardware, some of the fixed facility type things, the bathrooms and things like that would be something that would be enhance the experience for the other teams as well. So, you know, I'm in favor of this going forward to the Planning Commission, and I would like to see the Planning Commission really act as a catalyst in not only making sure that there's good public outreach and good public exposure or education that we're going to have your meetings, and I would suggest, you know, certainly more than one meeting. I think you need to think of well, you have to, you folks to decide how many, but act as a catalyst and get these teams to you know, huddle together and to try and work out a plan for you where you don't have to do all the work, but let them do some of the work here, and where you could maybe be the look at the things like, you know, I'll call it protection of the general community in terms of what kinds of things are going to be attached to the field, the tree thing, the fence thing, the scoreboard thing. All of those things are, you know, details that are important to lots of people that I think in your good judgment and estimation, listening to inputs and making compromises and so forth, this could certainly be worked out. So I'm excited about the process that may occur here, and I certainly support this going ahead and being and having the Planning Commission get involved. Yes.
tell that I'm likely to be the swing vote on this issue tonight. So here goes, I'll spare you the suspense. I have a number of concerns about putting this kind of ball field in the park. And I will tell you in detail what my concerns are. They are one, while I'm excited about the prospect, I'm not excited about the way it's been conducted so far. I think outreach, to the extent you go to a group like the Danes and promise them that you'll help them build facilities, is a very nice thing. To the extent you go to someone who's been trying very hard to have tennis courts built and say you will resurface your tennis courts and not the kind of patchwork thing the town's been doing, which doesn't last more than a year. True resurfacing, that's a very nice thing, but it's Max of trying to buy your way in. I'm sorry, that's what it feels like. And to hear tell, as I've read the emails, that AYSO soccer was not consulted and no outreach was performed with them, and lacrosse was not consulted, no outreach was performed with them, when we're talking about the kids. The most wonderful aspect about all of this is the kids. I have to say that having the sports here, all the sports, the lacrosse, the soccer, the t-ball to the extent you see kids playing t-ball on their own, the Little League. When you go by like tonight and you see them playing baseball, it's a wonderful thing to see in the park. When you're walking around and you see that ball flying, it's great. It's been a wonderful addition to the park all around. But when those groups are excluded from the process and the Atherton Dames are consulted and the tennis people are consulted, when you don't see nearly the same interest in tennis that you do in those other sports like soccer, I begin to wonder and question the process. I also question the process, and forgive me, but I happen to be female, when so many more boys are involved in Little League than girls. And we talk about elitism in Atherton. Well, there's a certain sexual component in Little League. I looked at the pictures and I saw girls almost as frequently as I saw boys, but it does cater far more to boys, and especially at the higher levels, than it does to girls. And are we being fair in that sense as well? It's a question. I can't answer it myself. It's just a question. I also wonder about the levels of experience. Now, you say at 11 and 12, anyone with experience can come in, but is it always going to be a AAA minor field when we make it a world-class kind of stadium? I don't know. I mean, things have changed. We came in with a ballpark that was something where the backstop went down. A year ago, we made it a permanent backstop. Things change. Just as at MA a couple of years ago, they started asking for permanent lights. Is this something that could evolve where now a world-class stadium is going to, because of the shortage of space, it's a real issue, as you've said. We are now going to have playoffs here. Is it something where in the fall we could have men's softball take place there? Is it something where in a year we could start having the issue of lights at night so people could play night games? I don't know where this could end up going. But you also, for example, in your presentation talk about extended parking, extending the parking lot. So you clearly, too, have thought about the fact that this could be going somewhere beyond what it is now. You're a private entity, and a little while ago we had the Gardeners Guild come to us and ask about putting up a greenhouse, and came to the council. And we thought very long and hard, and we were very critical of the idea, notwithstanding the fact that this is a group that was going to be putting in a fair amount of its own money to put in a greenhouse in a rather inconspicuous area near the corporation yard, that had a very onerous termination provision where we could essentially terminate it virtually at any time, where they were going to provide free gardening services and teaching classes to people at the park and plants. Notwithstanding, we wanted them to be able to put it bluntly, get out of here on pretty much a moment's notice because they were a private group.